What's up? Welcome to the Vegas Benchwarmer channel. This is the Benchwarmer podcast. My name is Eric E. Haney 702. And in the background, you got my cat, my homie, who's just chilling on the bed today. Jeremy is in Long Beach. Kelderock is at a wedding, and I'm pretty positive Mo is sleeping. So it's just going to be me today. So y'all going to have to go ahead and deal with that. And we going to get into this. All right, so we got a couple things to talk about today. First thing we're gonna get into is we're gonna get into the road to WrestleMania. Not sure how many people watch the Elimination Chamber or watch the Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, but we're gonna get into that. We're gonna start off with the Elimination Chamber. So suffice to say, me and Jeremy were surprised. Both of us thought Raquel Rodriguez was gonna win the Women's Elimination Chamber. Jeremy thought that they were gonna give the Judgment Day both titles on the blue brand and the red brand. And we were completely wrong. Rhea Ripley came off with the win. Chamber match was pretty good. Can't really get mad at it. From what I saw of it, it was a very, very good match. A lot of surprises. I was kind of surprised that Rhea Ripley did win. I was under the assumption that Raquel Rodriguez was going to win. She did look very, very dominant in that Elimination Chamber, though. Kudos to Kiana James and Asuka, Tiffany Stratton, and Alexis Bliss. All of them putting on a great performance. The AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch match I thought was horrible. That it was a bad match. I didn't like it. I've seen a lot of grades saying it was a B and A minus. I thought it was for a build, okay. We know rankings don't matter in the WWE. So for a build, yeah, AJ Lee kind of got the title and tricked, Becky Lynch into putting up the title. Everybody knows that I'm a Becky Lynch fan, so this shouldn't come as no shock. I just didn't think there was that good of a match. I didn't think AJ Lee looked great. I think she had some rust on her, which of course that would be noted because it's like her first singles match in forever. So yeah, I didn't really like this. I don't like the story continuing. We'll get into what happened on Raw after that because I don't like that promo. CM Punk versus Finn Balor, I thought was an amazing match. But that match was outstanding. Even though Finn Balor had no chance to win, we already knew that. So yeah, I thought it was a very, very good match. They went all out, and that was kudos to Finn Balor and CM Punk. Very, very good match. Randy Orton Randy Orton wins the Elimination Chamber. I wanted LA Knight to win. That would have been good. I like Javon Evans. He did good. All of them it was a very good match to me. It wasn't a bad match. You had some spots. I think the ending kind of killed it. The Seth Rollins stomping Logan Paul to reveal that he was a masked man. So, and he's back. That was cool. But I mean, at least they made Logan Paul look like a world beater because it looks like they're going to go against each other for WrestleMania. So that kind of gives them some credence. But outside of that, and then Cody Rhodes losing to Randy Orton, which the way he lost kind of set up what happened on SmackDown. So for their championship match, which I think the outcome was bad. I think LA Knight really needed this win. So all in all, I think Elimination Chamber is pretty good. It set up what it wanted to set up. It set up the Elimination Chamber, or the set up the Elimination Chamber. Set up your two other main event matches, which I don't know how they have 4 main event matches, but your 2 other matches for the titles. So of course you got Rhea Ripley versus Jade, and then you have Randy Orton versus Cody, but then or Drew, because Drew now has to fight Cody for the championship because he got involved in the Elimination Chamber, which just seems absolutely asinine and stupid. So yeah, that was kind of weird. So overall, I would give it like a C plus maybe for the Elimination Chamber. I don't think the matches were extremely good. The one match I thought was absolutely fabulous was CM Punk versus Finn Balor. So I thought that was an amazing match. The rest of the matches I just thought were okay. I thought the Rhea Ripley match or the Women's Elimination Chamber was probably a B minus, maybe C. It was a good match. It just wasn't, and then maybe a B. And then the Men's Elimination Chamber was a B, but I thought the AJ Lee and Becky Lynch match fucking sucked. So then we can get on to Monday Night Raw, which ended up happening, of course, last Monday. They were in Indiana. Shout out to 520 Club Podcast because they were there watching it. The CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, loved it. I'm loving that build. I think that's going to be an amazing match. I love that Roman Reigns is back. Thought it was extremely, extremely good. I didn't understand the I don't understand the Seth Rollins beating up Paul Heyman. I mean, Roman Reigns had a much better reason to beat up Paul Heyman. So did CM Punk after he turned for Seth Rollins. They both had way better opportunities. Yeah, honestly, I would have liked that better than Randy versus Cody. I'll get into that when I go over SmackDown. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't really like SmackDown. But yeah, I don't see why Seth Rollins came out and stomped on Paul Heyman. If I remember correctly, and my memory could be bad because I'm a pothead. Braun Breaker took out Seth Rollins and basically forced Paul Heyman to kind of do it. Basically, you're either with us or against us type thing. Yes, Paul Heyman took it and went and ran with it. But yeah, so that was a little, I don't know why they're taking him off of TV unless he's going to go completely off. But I mean, yeah, okay. The AJ Lee promo, I don't like. I don't like at all. I just heard this promo a couple weeks ago with CM Punk like 5 times. I'm going to be a fighting champion. I'm going to do this. I don't understand what WWE's idea is going here with CM Punk. And CM Punk, it makes sense because Roman Reigns wasn't a fighting champion because of the fact that he was never there. He just showed up for the main events. That makes a lot of sense. But Becky Lynch is there every single week. Becky Lynch has wrestled a lot of different people. So that just doesn't make sense. And then who is AJ Lee going to go against? I think they need to put her against Natalia or a veteran in the ring so that way she can get knocked the rust off. But I mean, please don't put her against a young person. So I'm not, I'm going to be a fighting champion, this and this and this. As you guys can tell, I'm not a big fan of AJ Lee. I said this last week on the podcast. I'll say it again. AJ Lee was great when she was there. She was amazing. She was a much better wrestler than a lot of the women that were there. But nowadays, everybody's better. So she's got to get the rust off, but she's not that good. She's an average wrestler with the women competitors that WWE has. So I'm just not going on in that. Gunther versus Dragon Lee. Yeah, okay. I get it. Dragon Lee is pissed off because of Gunther with AJ, and it's making Gunther look even more of a beast. I wish Gunther would shut the fuck up now and just come out and start killing people. And I will get into that after I get into the SmackDown. We'll get into more what I think is going on with these bad guys. El Grande Americano versus the other Americano, whoever the hell his name is. Yeah, that was a cool match. I like El Grande Americano. I know it's Chad Gable. Amazing. Obi Femi and Rusev. That is going to be a fight. That is going to be a hoss fight. I'm excited about that fight. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Now Io Sky is going after the Intercontinental Championship because everybody wants to fight AJ Lee. So you're going to have a ton of people go after that Intercontinental Championship. I think Io Sky needs to elevate herself to the women's title picture. I think I don't think they're going to give her the Intercontinental Championship, but I think she needs to set herself up to be the winner of Liv and Stephanie Vaquera. And then, of course, Dominic Mysterio's reign is over via Penta. Balor needs to just get out of the Judgment Day. Can we just say that? I'm going to get into more of that with my heels and my bad guys when I review it. But Balor needs to get out of the Judgment Day. I'm not very happy with his moral. He needs to do it by himself. No, y'all are fucking bad guys. Beat the shit out of people. I need to go back to, and I know maybe it's just because we had the bloodline do it for so long, but I think we need to go back to our bad guys being actual bad guys. So congratulations to Penta. He gets the Intercontinental Championship. I do not want to hear next Monday the fans chant, "You deserve it." I don't want to hear that. I'm so tired of people chanting that. You deserve it. No, I'm so tired of that. Not everybody deserves it. Stop it. SmackDown. SmackDown was interesting. Let's talk about it. Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes wins because Fatu. So we know we're gonna have Fatu and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Okay. We're gonna have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Okay. I don't need to see Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. That's okay. That's gonna be a great match, but I don't need to see that. I'll get into it a little later. Why? I don't like this Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. I don't like it. I need a bad guy. Unless Cody Rhodes is going to turn heel, I need. This is going to be respect. We're going to go back and forth. I respect you. You respect me. We were friends. It's going to be a good build up because both of them can talk. Both of them can wrestle. It'll probably be a good match. I just don't. I think there's so many other better matches we could have set up for that. For that to have happened. Again, LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre, I think would have been outstanding. So yeah, okay, cool. I don't understand what the point was of taking the championship off of Cody Rhodes to give to Drew McIntyre, just so he could win it back on a SmackDown. I don't get it. I don't get it. Carmelo Hayes. I mean, Mello, love Mello. Think he's talented wrestler. I would rather see Mello in a United States storyline go into WrestleMania than to see Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fletcher. So that's my opinion. I think we need to defend the United States. I think WrestleMania, every belt needs to be defended. It's fucking 2 nights. Okay, you have enough time to make enough storylines to get every single belt defended. So I definitely, if I have to cut one, Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu, cut that off of WrestleMania. Get somebody for Carmelo Hayes to go up against in the United States Championship. Yeah, so Vegas. Why are you talking shit about my hairless guy? But homie, they clowning you, buddy. Yes, yeah, it's that hot in Vegas. We had to remove the cat's fur, 100%. It has been weird in Vegas with the heat. It was hot a couple days ago. It was so hot I was outside doing yard work, and the last 3 days has been cold as a witch's teat. Probably not cold for where you guys are at, but cold for where we're at. Jade Cargo versus Rhea Ripley. You know, we're gonna skip that. We're gonna go back to the Nia Jackson Lash Legends Celebrate Winning Tag Team Championship, and we're gonna put this in with the Jade Cargo and the Rhea Ripley. The reason why we're gonna put this together is because they're the same people. It literally, I watched the Nia Jackson Lash Legend promo and got it. Okay, you guys are an irresistible force. You are big, bad women, right? Big as in tall. Congratulations for Nia Jax on losing weight, by the way. You're supposed to be sexy. You're supposed to be irresistible, and you are those bad bitches. But then fast forward to Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, and it's the same fucking promo. I'm big, I'm bad, and I'm that bitch. I was so like, oh my God, this is so unoriginal. I need Nia Jackson, Lash Legend should be a dominant tag team. They are big enough, stature-wise, strong enough that they should be a tag team, dominant tag team, especially in the women's division because they tower over everybody. Like when you saw them in the ring with Charlotte and Alexa, and then James and I'm not even gonna pronounce the other girl's name. They were just so, they should be a dominant tag team, but they don't have to be a dominant tag team that, oh, we're sexy, we're conceited, we're that bitch, we're that. No, just be a dominant tag team and come in and fucking wreck shit and leave. Like, I need more of our bad guys to do that shit. I would have rather their celebration, instead of a celebration, I'd rather them just came out and be like, yeah, we're bad, we don't want this shit, blah, 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 blah. Who's next? Something like that. Same thing with Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill plays it off well, but it's just a very similar, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but it's just a very similar, they're playing very similar characters. And it's just so weird because I think Nia Jackson Lash should just be a dominant force. They should probably go on a 1.5 year run where they're just beating the shit out of everybody and not talking as much. They could talk, but not, oh, we're this and oh my God, we're that and look at us and bah, 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 bah. Nah, fuck that. Come in, wreck house, leave. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. It's gonna be a house fight. Like one of the big old house fights that we have. It's gonna be very similar to Obi Fema versus Rusev. It's gonna be two big, strong people whooping the shit out of each other. I do not think Rhea's gonna win. I think they're gonna end up putting her back on Raw. So I don't think she's gonna win at all. I think Jade Cargill comes away from this. I don't know what happens with Rhea, but I'm kind of excited for it. The Twitter back and forth banter, I love. So I'm very, very excited for it. I don't care about the #1 tag team contender match. I don't give a fuck about where the fuck are the Street Profits. Where are the Street Profits? You had a tag turmoil and you could not put the Street Profits in it. What the fuck? You had a team that didn't even know they were a team. I love Bald R-Truth. I love seeing R-Truth in any tag team. Please bring R-Truth as much as we possibly can on SmackDown. But y'all could have put the Street Profits in it. There's no reason to even have the White Six in there when you know that the MFTs, Tonga and them are gonna cost them. But where the hell are Street Profits? Where are the Street Profits? Johnny Gargano calling out, doing his thing. I don't understand why Obi Femi came out. I don't get it. I know he's kind of like a free agent, so he's going to whoop everybody's asses. So I don't get why he came out. I think that they should just build that with Rusev. To me, there's no reason for him to come out and beat somebody up that's that little. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't. We already know how strong and massive he is. So it doesn't. I got you. There you go, Nikki, bud. So yeah, it doesn't. It didn't make him look any more dominant to me. So yeah, I don't. And why do we need to make Johnny Gargano look like such a ragdoll? So I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in it with that. So overall, on the road to WrestleMania, I mean, we got some stuff going on. If you're not following Raw, I don't know why you're not. It's on fucking Netflix. But we got a lot of weird stuff. We know what's gonna happen. We got Liv versus Stephanie Vancaro. I'm not very excited about that match. The buildup has not been great. I don't know what's gonna happen with Judgment Day and Finn Balor. So I don't know what's gonna happen with there. We have, let me bring it up because I'm drawing a blank right now. So let me bring up WrestleMania confirmed matches. All right, so we got Roman. So the one I'm excited about, I don't know. So first of all, we got Roman versus CM Punk. I'm gonna love this build. We have two very skilled people on the mic. Roman does exactly what I like him to do. Comes in, wreck shit, leaves. CM Punk is on an all-time great run right now, if you ask me. His mic skills and everything are absolutely amazing. I want to see more of them in the ring combating each other. We know it's going to get physical at some point in time. We know we got Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. It's going to be a good build. It's going to be a good match. But again, if you've been watching us long enough, you know I do not like Cody Rhodes. As of right now, his character, I need more from him. I'm too tired of his cookie cutter superhero guy. There's going to be a Brock Lesnar open challenge. Why? I think, again, in this scenario, you could have taken this could have been like an Obi Femi open challenge and Rusev comes in or Rusev does it. I think it could have been something like that. Who will answer? Most fans suspect LA Knight, Obi, or Gunther will answer the call. If Gunther answers a call, he has to win. It's a career killer. I don't understand why LA Knight would open that call. We have Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. Good old Hoss fight. I'm gonna like it. It's gonna be good. So far, the build has been good. Let's make sure it doesn't get stale going into WrestleMania. Stephanie Vankera and Liv Morgan. I may be in the minority. I don't give a fuck about Stephanie Vankera. I don't think she's talented, but I don't get it. I don't like her. I hate the "You Deserve It" chant that she got when she won the title. What the fuck are we talking about? So yeah. Then we got some predictions going on. We think it's going to be AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. Of course, we already see that coming. AJ Lee's going to win that match. Hopefully, it's a better match than the other one. They're saying Women's United States Champion. I don't know. Gunther versus Dragon Lee or Rey Mysterio. I don't know. But we need the United States Champion. We need Carmelo Hayes. We need Penta. So what is going to be Penta versus Dom, or Penta in a 4-way match? I would love to see Penta in a 4-way match for the Intercontinental Champion. So yeah, we need a couple things. Overall, I think the build was really good this week. In WWE, there's some stuff I don't like, but I'm excited to see WrestleMania. All right. Next thing we're going to get into is we're going to get into some boxing. Okay. So as of right now, we have negotiations have undergone for Devin Debo Haney versus Rolly Romero. So if you don't follow boxing very much, I'll give you guys a reminder of who they are. Devin Debo Haney was the guy that, of course, he beat Lomachenko. He beat Gambasta in Australia, and then he did get knocked out, get his ass whooped by Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia tested positive for steroids, and Devin Haney sued him. Devin Haney came back. He ended up beating somebody, I forgot who it was, and then taking the 147 title from Brian Norman Jr. Rolly Romero jumped on the scene for a lot of boxing fans when he got knocked out by Tank in the 6th round, talking all that stuff. He then went on to fight somebody at 140, an old man that somehow he won a title from. He then went on to lose to Pitbull Cruz. Then at some point in time, a couple fights later, he ended up fighting Ryan Garcia in the Madison Square Garden, the same card as Devin Haney. And Devin Haney fought that dude he fought, and he ended up beating Ryan Garcia. Then Rolly Romero ended up fighting, I forgot who he fought, but he fought somebody and ended up winning the WBC, or ended up winning a title. He ended up winning a title, so they're talking about a unification title between Devin Haney and wait, he hasn't fought since 2025? No, that's not right. How did he get the title? Oh, he won it in the fight with Ryan Garcia. Okay, so that's what happened. Rolly beat Ryan Garcia, and then after Boots Ennis vacated the version in August of 2025, Romero was later elevated to the full champion. So Romero's got the WBA title. Devin Haney has, I think he has the WBC title. But they're in serious talks right now for a 147-pound unification fight, possibly May 30th at Brooklyn's Barcade Center. I think that would be an extremely good fight. Rolly Romero is a lot fast. This is what I'm going to say about Rolly, okay? Rolly's a weird guy when it comes to boxing. He's not a weird boxer. He's just a weird guy because there's certain things that you see when you watch him fight, and then you go, oh, he's actually very, very talented. But then when you see him fight other people, he doesn't look very good. So fighting Tank, yes, Tank knocked him out in the 6th round, but for the first couple rounds, Rolly was in there. Tank says nobody, he's hasn't fought anybody that hit harder than Rolly. Then when Rolly went and fought that old man, he got dropped, and they gave him and then he ended up dropping him later on, and it was a quick stoppage. When Rolly beat Garcia, everybody said it was because Garcia wasn't at his best, but Rolly has power and Rolly has hands. Rolly also comes forward a lot. That's the problem when Devin Haney is a counter, likes to counter a lot. So that's a very, very good fight. Everybody does want to see Haney versus Garcia, especially after Garcia put that ass whooping on Barrios. But Haney's basically saying that Garcia needs to come to terms with negotiation because Garcia, from what it sounds like, wants all of the money. He wants all the money, all the rights. He wants everything in his corner because he says he's the A side, which it's going to be unlike basically with how much money it's getting with Turkey if they get involved. It's not Turkey Alish. It's not, there really is no A side. I don't know what's going to happen. I would rather see that fight because they have a belt. So, I mean, let's see. Hopefully, Devin and Rolly go at it May 30th. Ryan can keep his belt if they can get this signed. By the way, boxing, these motherfuckers be signing for fights quick because right now they are still in negotiation. They're in serious talks, right, for a possible title fight May 30th. What is today? Today is the 7th. Okay, that is 53 days away. That is, am I tripping? 30 days. Oh, no, it's not. Let me shut up. That is 83 days away. Okay, so that's 83 days away. How many weeks is that? 30 is 4, 68. Yeah, so that gives about 8-week training camp. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. For some odd reason, I thought May 30th was coming up a lot quicker. But that's gonna be a good fight. I'm gonna keep going on keep my ears pinned, keep looking at the internet to see when we finally get those talks and if that comes in. And we'll probably definitely have a live stream for that. But yeah, that's gonna be a very good fight. I hope that Garcia, um, I really hope that Garcia and Haney fight. That's what I want to see more than anything else. All right. Next thing we're gonna get into is we're gonna get a Dana White versus Eddie Hearn. So for y'all that don't know, Dana White, of course everybody knows who Dana White is. Dana White is the seat president, whatever, of UFC, but he's also one of the head figures of Zuffa Boxing, along with Turkey Alish from Saudi, right? So there's been issues that they've had. I think Matchroom is suing Turkey Alish because they were supposed to have with their contract, they were supposed to have first representation to all these fights, and going through Zuffa is taking them out of the loophole. So I know there's some sort of contract suit going on based off of Zuffa Boxing with Matchroom. Then Zuffa went and signed Connor Benn out from under Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn didn't have him on a contract. It was like $15 million for a fight. Eddie Hearn can't talk about that because of what's going on with the lawsuit and all this other stuff. So he's basically saying it's not what they say it is. But if it's $15 million for a fight, then damn, I don't blame him. Connor Benn is just taking the bag right now. He does, from what I can understand, is he still wants to work with Eddie Hearn. But he's taking the bag. Eddie Hearn's, of course, going to work with him as long as he wins. But if Zuffa's throwing that much money at him, we're in trouble. So that was the first. I mean, there's been banter back and forth. Dana White and Eddie Hearn going back and forth. Eddie Hearn saying Dana White's ruined boxing. Dana White saying Eddie Hearn is dumbass. They go back and forth on Twitter and in interviews and all this shit. But the first real blow, I think, was thrown was Connor Benn signing to Zuffa Boxing. I mean, Eddie Hearn, if you saw any of his videos, he was extremely hurt. He was very, very hurt. He said, for all the stuff that we went through with Connor, I thought there was some loyalty. So he was really hurt. So Connor Benn signed with Zuffa, and that was like the first dagger, right? The words back and forth, everybody can talk shit, but that was the first time that somebody actually, we could say, poached a fighter. They went after and gave him that little dagger, right? So how did Matchroom respond? They signed Tom Aspinall. Matchroom signed Tom Aspinall to be their promotional company. So, and that actually matters, I think, more than Connor Benn signing with Zuffa Boxing. Because Tom Aspinall is the UFC heavyweight champion. Tom Aspinall still is under contract for the UFC. So Eddie Hearn has said that it's not like bringing Tom Aspinall to boxing or we're starting an MMA business. No, we're just there to represent Tom Aspinall, to represent him in his contract negotiations. And when they're fighting to help promote his fights and all this other stuff. Well, how does that happen when UFC's machine does all that? He's a heavyweight champion. We know the clause they have in the contracts. We know how UFC pays them. We know what ends up happening because all this came out during the antitrust lawsuit or whatever. So how does this work? Is it when a fight comes up and is offered? If normally Dana White comes and says Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira for the heavyweight title at the UFC White House. Bam, fight's done. Right? Tom Aspinall, they could talk, they can negotiate, but it's basically done. What happens now? Does Dana White and them come up to Tom Aspinall and say, "Hey, we want you to fight Alex Pereira," and he looks at Eddie Hearn and goes, "How much are you gonna pay me?" How does this work out? I think this was a bigger blow than the Conor Benn thing, because if this works, and because he's signing, from my understanding, I'm not in the know, but from what I've read, is that UFC does not like working with the fighter's management. They'd prefer to write, unless they like the management, they would prefer to work with the fighter exclusively. So they talk to the fighter about signing fights and deals and all this other stuff. But how does that work if it's a promotion? And if it does work, what ends up happening? Do more fighters go and sign with other promotional companies? I just think that's a little crazy. I wonder. Showbiz said, he said it. The Wade concept said it. They both said that there's going to be a promoter war. This is what's going to happen, and I think we're starting to see the biggest things of it. I don't think it's going to hurt boxing as much as it's going to hurt UFC. If this right here, if this Eddie Hearn signing Tom Aspinall changes the way UFC goes, because if more fighters sign with promoters outside of UFC, how does that change? What happens with the management? I'd be very, very interested to see and keep an idea on that. All right, next thing we're going to go into is NFL trades. We had some trades happen this week. Some, it's the NFL offseason, people doing some stuff. We've had some releases, which we're going to talk about too, the releases and the trades. Oh, because there's no dumbass. They're not done for the trade deadline. Okay. So we have had, because I'm like, why aren't the transactions on NFL.com? Because they're actually not released. Okay, so let's get into it. The biggest trade we had yesterday, which I wish Jeremy was on for this, but Jeremy is in Long Beach. The biggest trade that we had, I think the biggest trade news that we've seen all offseason just happened yesterday. It is Max Crosby to the Ravens, okay? The Raiders are getting a 2026 first-round pick, which I think is the 14th overall pick, and a 2027 first-round pick. So depending on what happens, if Lamar is healthy, that 2027 first round pick will probably be in the 20s. One of my buddies, that's a Raiders fan, never been on the podcast. He sent out in a group chat, basically said that that's all we got for Max Crosby, saying only two first round picks. I think that is a good return. I think that is a very good return. You can't be too greedy. You're not going to get 4 picks. You have got a second or a third, but the Raiders had no leverage. Everybody knew Max Crosby was gone. He was gone. Everybody knew they were not going to start, and if they started the season with him, it would have been tremendous. Maybe Raiders fans thought that he was going to stick around, but I mean, I think most of us NFL fans knew at some point in time there was going to be a trade. I don't think the Raiders had much leverage here, even though they could have kept him. But everybody knew Max Crosby kind of wanted out and didn't want to go through a rebuild. So I think this is a very good return for him. You're going to have the first pick and the 14th pick in this year's draft. So, I mean, if you get your quarterback, depending on who you want, you may be able to pair a couple picks in the second round, a pick in the second round, or pick in the third round to move up a couple spots to get another player. So, I mean, you could have, per se, very similar to what Houston did when Houston got CJ Stroud and then went and got the other dude in the draft. So you can trade up and get that. I think this is very good. I think this is a very good return for them. This is more than what I thought he was going to get. They were going to get for him. I figured a first round pick and maybe a second or third. So I think this is very, very good. The Ravens needed pass rush and the Raiders needed a rebuild. So, yeah, was not surprised about that. We're not going to go over every trade. We're just going to go over the trades that matter, in my opinion. I don't care about linemen getting traded. I don't care about linemen retiring if I don't know who they are. So we're just going to go about the people that I care about. DJ Moore. DJ Moore got traded from the Bears to the Bills. My first thought, again, same thing with the Ravens. Why the fuck are we trading people to the AFC? Stop it. Stop giving the Ravens and the Bills more weapons. Don't do that. Trade them to the NFC. I know we're gonna put the Chiefs are gonna play the Ravens. I know we're gonna play the Bills. I don't want to see Max Crosby again. But DJ Moore got traded to the Bills. First thought was, okay, damn, this is kind of like the Stephon Diggs trade. Not same caliber, but you give Josh Allen somebody he can depend on, somebody that can catch the ball. Yes, this year his targets and receptions went down. But I mean, he had what 2,000 yard seasons. I think he's a major reason why the Bears offense went forward this year. With him being there, reliable, him helping in the receiver room. So I think this is very good. I do think they overpaid. I do think the Bears overpaid with the 2020 second round pick. I don't understand how that was. I mean, DJ Moore got traded for the number 1 overall pick, and they got a first round pick from the Panthers as well when he went to the Bears. So it was the number 1 overall pick. The Bears traded to the Panthers for the first round pick, and then next year first round pick. So, and that was who they thought was going to be a game changer when they picked up whatever his name is, Bryce. So I just think they overpaid for a second round pick. I know that if AJ Brown gets traded, he's definitely going for a first and a second now. So yeah, and the contract's kind of high. So I don't know. My first thought, damn it. Second thought, once I sat down and thought about it, I don't think this is gonna be that big of a deal. I think this is the Bills organization. And they're saying that DJ Moore connects with Joe Brady, who was at Carolina. But I think this is the Bills basically trying to show the rest of the NFL world that once they fired Sean McDermott, that they're going to go out and try to make changes and try to help get offense. They talked about a receiver and threw Keon Coleman under the bus during that press conference. So I think this is their thought process is, hey, we're going to go get a game changer. But I think they went out and they should have tried to get AJ Brown. I think there could have been a lot more that you got traded, that you got. So overall, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think they're still going to be what they were, 1 interception away from going to the AFC Championship. So I don't think this puts them in the AFC Championship or puts them in the Super Bowl. But it's a good trade. Maybe you give up a third round, not a second. I'm not sure. All right, Trent McDuffie gets traded from the Chiefs to the Rams. Was I surprised about this? No. In the Chiefs kingdom, they have been talking about trading Trent McDuffie for a little bit due to the fact that there was a difference in contract. He deserves, let me put this, he wanted to be paid as one of the highest paid cornerbacks in the league. Based off of his production, he probably deserved to be paid as one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. I definitely think that is something that he should have gotten. At the same time, I don't think any cornerback should be paid $30 million fucking dollars a season. I don't care if you're Darrelle Revis. I don't care if you're Nnamdi Asomugha from the Raiders. I don't care if you're Richard Sherman. I do not think winning teams, and this is going to sound bad because the Rams are about to pay him. I don't think, but the Rams, I think, are in a little bit different situation. I don't think paying $30 million for a cornerback is good, especially for the Chiefs. We're going to pay Mahomes. I don't know, we have Chris Jones. We've released a lot of players. We're going to go in and get a running back. So it looks like we're talking to Kenneth Walker, probably going to pay him about $12 million a year. We're going to have basically a brand new defense. But if we paid him $30 million a year after releasing Juwan Taylor, which I'm so happy we released him, we're basically screwed. So I think in this situation, it came very similar to L'Jarius Sneed. It's not worth paying a cornerback that much. Now, the Rams, on the other hand, they say, fuck these draft picks. So the Rams have no problem paying that much because they're going all in on a Super Bowl run with Matthew Stafford at the very, very end of his career. The Chiefs are building a team am hoping and praying that Mahomes comes back to some sort of as great as he was before. So that way we can continue to go. So there's a lot of, and we have a lot of holes that we need to fix. So yes, I think this was a good trade for both teams. I'm surprised how much the Chiefs got for him. So we got the 2026 first round pick, which is the 29th overall, which I'm okay with that. To have two first round picks. We're going to have the 9th overall pick and the 29th. We got this 5th round pick, a 6th round pick, and a 2027 third round pick. So yeah, we can use some of those to move up. Depending on what happens in free agency, if we're going to go after Kenneth Walker or Travis Etienne, one of those two, we're going to have to pay $10 to $12 million. If we don't get them, that gives us some capital to move up and try to get Jeremiah Love in the draft and then go for offensive line. So I'm not sure. I'm not 100% positive on that, but I think it was a good trade. I'm completely fine with that trade on both sides. I understand what both teams did. I would have loved for Trip McDuffie to stay, but I trust in Reach. David Montgomery gets traded to the Texans. Kind of crazy how DJ Moore got traded for a second round draft pick. The Texans received David Montgomery. They trade OL Juice Scruggs. I love that name, but I don't know who the hell he is. A 4th and a 7th. So, I mean, David Montgomery, of course, he became expendable because of Jamar Gibbs, but that was a great 1-2 punch. He has last couple years, he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on him because he's been used spare. I think this was a good trade for the Texans. I don't know who Juice Scruggs is, so somebody in the comments is going to have to let me know how good of a lineman he is. But I think this was a very good trade for the Texans. I think this is more of a return that I was thinking that the Bills should have gave up for DJ Moore. Maybe a 4th and a 6th, maybe a 3rd and a 7th. So that's just kind of weird to me how much more DJ went for. And I think David Montgomery is a bigger game changer for the Texans than DJ Moore will be for the Bills. So I think this is a good trade for both teams. I think I don't know if the Lions could have gotten more than what they got for him, but I think the Texans do. Weird, they have Woody Marks. They have another running back, which I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But David Montgomery is going to step in probably and immediately take over most of the share. Or they pair him with Woody Marks and do a duo. So I think it's a very good trade for them. Let's see. I don't know of any other trades that went down that I really care about. So last thing we're going to talk about is NFL releases. I know there were some people that were released. And we've already talked about what was it? Tyreek Hill getting released. All right, here we go. So we had Stephon Diggs get released. When Stephon Diggs got released out from the Patriots, okay. Funny how Chiefs Kingdom started coming up with a wide receiver room of Rashid Rice, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and Xavier Worthy. Love that. I don't think Stephon Diggs signs with the Chiefs. There's no way in hell. I think he signs with the Chiefs. But I would not. That would not bother me. That would not bother me at all. What was it? Joe Mixon just got released by Houston. That was the other running back that I couldn't think of that was on the Houston Texans. So he got released after they traded for Montgomery. What else do we have? Was it the guy from the Saints? What's his name? Jordan, whatever. He got released. I know he got released, and this is the first time that he will ever go into free agency. I can't think of his name. He spent his whole 15 years with the Saints. What was his name? Oh, I can't fucking remember. What is the Saints? He's a defensive man. Saints player. Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan. That's who it was. Cam Jordan is expected to become a free agent in March 2026. So this is the first time that he's actually hit the free agency, which that's kind of weird. Not weird, but it's, I mean, he's a 15-year veteran. Yes, I would love to retire with the team that I spent 15 years with. I think it's weird that he's hitting free agency for the first time with 15 years. So yes, there's going to be a team that picks him up, but he's not going to get the full experience of free agency. Um, because he is 15-year veteran. I think teams should do more about that. Bring his ass back. Bring him back on a do like a Travis Kelsey thing. Bring him back with Travis Kelsey. Same thing that we doing. Don't let him go. Bring him back. Saints, he probably will come back, but bring him back. And then free agents. I wish the guys were on because I wanted to talk about some of these free agents. So free agent wide receivers that as of right now, this was done sent out by Ari. March 5th. We have Alec Pierce, who's a wide receiver for the Colts, speedy wide receiver. I'm gonna talk about this from my team's perspective, the Chiefs. Who would I like? Of course, I would like Alec Pierce, but I don't think he's gonna be on our team. I think he's gonna resign with the Colts. I wouldn't mind him, but there's other people I would like above him. There's Wendell Robinson from the Giants. We have Mike Evans. If we could get Mike Evans, I would absolutely love that. I would. It depends on how much money some of these guys want. Ultimately, I would be okay with getting Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Debo Samuel. Any one of those three with just pair with Rashid, with Rice and Worthy. Be okay with that. I'd also be okay with getting Rashid Shaheed because he's quick as shit. Stephon Diggs, I'd be okay with. But if I had to pick out my room, depending on what Debo wants, I would go with. I think Mike is going to return back to the Bucks, and I think he's going to be priced out. But ultimately, I would take Mike Evans, Debo. I'll also take Debo, Stephon Diggs. Of course, I would take Tyreek Hill too. Those would be, but Debo, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Worthy, and Rice. That would be my receiver room. It depends on their salary. If Debo wants to sign for a little less, if Debo doesn't want to sign, then we'll bring in Tyreek Hill. But I would go after those. I think Rashid Shaheed is going to have too many things, but I would go after some prove it deals. Stephon Diggs, I don't know how many suitors he's going to have at what happened. So I'd go after some prove it deals for the free agents. For the running backs, if it was me, Kenneth Walker, I'm definitely going after, which we're having conversations with now. Travis Etienne, I'm definitely going after. Rico Dowdy, I don't think so. I'm a skip on that one. Tyler Algier, yes, I like him with the Falcons. Kenneth Gainwell, no. Rashad Wright, no. And the reason why J.K. Dobbins, I would go after Najee Harris, Brian Robinson. My idea is if we can get lucky as a Chiefs, no Travis Etienne and Kenneth Walker are both like 25, 26. If we can get lucky and sign Travis, Kenneth, Najee, Brian Robinson Jr., get a little younger, sign them to a 4-year deal that's not bad, maybe in the $8 to $10 million range, which I think we'll have to go up more for Kenneth Walker. I think with Eric Bieniemy coming back, our running back room would be really, really good. So my idea is don't go old, go young, go second contract, and see what we can do with them. And put them on very little guaranteed because the NFL is very little money guaranteed. So that way we can cut them if they don't show up. Outside of that, when it comes to free agent tight ends, there's only one free agent tight end I want. I want Travis Kelsey. I think Isaiah Likely resigns with the Ravens. I think Dallas Goedert resigns with the Eagles. A lot of these other tight ends are gonna, Noah Fant, Tyler Higbee, David Njoku, which is funny. When we first started doing this podcast, we did a whole entire video about David Njoku back when we used to do videos, and I had trouble saying his name. Jonnu Smith, I don't really care. Daniel Bellinger, I don't really care what any of these people at. So the only one I want is Travis Kelsey. If we don't get Travis Kelsey back, I don't want anybody. anybody. And then last question of the day before I get up out of here. This comes from MJ Football. Let me share to see what y'all think about it. Share screen window. All right. If you could only pick one and let them in the Hall of Fame, who would you pick? Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans, or Antonio Brown? If we go down to the comments, they're all going to the Hall of Fame except DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think Antonio Brown gets into the Hall of Fame because of his craziness. I think that's going to completely keep him out of the Hall of Fame. I also think that, I think that's going to keep him out. And he didn't have a long enough career, in my opinion, to be in the Hall of Fame. Julio, then AB, but I'd be fine switching them around too. So Mike Evans is going into the Hall of Fame. That's 100%. Just this stat right here. What is it? Only player with 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Fourth player ever with 12,000 receiving yards, 100 touchdowns, 10th all time in receiving touchdowns. Yeah, he's going to the Hall of Fame. So if I had to pick anyone, automatically I'd pick Mike Evans, followed by Julio Jones, then DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think D-Hop gets in. I think there's a case made for Julio Jones, but I think Mike Evans is a 100% lock to get in the Hall of Fame. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment. Since there's nobody here to take us out, I guess I will take us out. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. And put me in, coach. Peace.